What's good, guys? Welcome back to the Last Word in Sports. Here today, Charlie Owen, Scott Caverts, coming back at you with our playoff prediction series. We're moving into the second round, Eastern Conference playoff predictions. We got Milwaukee Bucks. We got the Miami Heat. Game 1 was tonight. The Heat won. What was the final? 115 to 104. Jimmy Butler went off. I'm going to discuss our picks for the rest of the series. Now, personally, I think Milwaukee will win, if not the next 4 games, they'll win in 6, in my humble opinion.
And in my humble opinion, shout out Nick D-Ray, other member of the podcast, I think the Miami Heat will win this series in 6 games.
In 6 games?
I don't even think it'll go to 7.
Interesting.
I love the Bucks, especially on defense. I love what they've done all year. But when I look at how they played in the bubble, it's been a bit more concerning. And at the end of the day, I've had my doubts about Giannis because if you think about Giannis in the regular season, his overall productivity, right? Points, rebounds, assists, defensive output.
He's getting
He
everything.
is far and away the best player in the league, and nobody's even close. LeBron, Kawhi, they're not even up there. But ultimately, when you think about who the best player is, right, you're talking about who helps your team to win the championship the most. And the same way that Russell Westbrook's inability to shoot has prohibited his teams from winning in the past.
Go check out OKC Rockets vid.
Exactly. I think Giannis's inability to shoot has kind of allowed teams to essentially take him out of games if they can build a lead early with hot three-point shooting, which we know that he can do with guys like Duncan Robinson. They can effectively take him out.
Duncan ain't do anything this game, though.
If you look at the stat sheet and you say, wow, Giannis almost had a triple-double. He had 10 points, or
18 points,
10 rebounds, 9 assists. That's a pretty good line for any normal guy.
It's a pedestrian night
but
for
Giannis averages 30 points and 14 rebounds.
Yeah.
That's just not good enough.
And Bam Adebayo, sunned him tonight. 17 boards for him.
I look at Bam Adebayo, 12 points, 17 boards. That's all they need from him. That's his role, okay? If he doesn't go for 20. Jimmy Butler, by the way, went for 40, which I don't know if that's sustainable, but he is a guy with probably the most confidence and swagger in the league. If there's one dude who believes the Heat can beat the Bucks, it's Jimmy Buckets.
That man's crazy.
He said, this is a business trip. I'm not bringing my family into the bubble. And you just have so many role players who, on any given night, Goran Dragic had 27, 6, and 5. Tyler Hero, despite having a bad game, hit a big 3 down the stretch. He's a ballsy young player who will just shoot the heck out of that thing.
27% tonight, though.
Yeah, but, he'll go 50% the next night.
Yeah.
Guys like Iguodala are veteran defenders. Nick has mentioned in the past that his influence will be great. I didn't love the trade when they first made it, but hey, if he helps them, he helps them. I don't actually think the Heat will get past either the Celtics or the Raptors, but I think the way they match up with the Bucks, the same way we saw last year with Kawhi Leonard, a phenomenal perimeter defender who's strong, a little heftier, and he was able to funnel Giannis into the big Marc Gasol. That's kind of the same strategy, right? Build this brick wall, funnel him into a great defensive big, Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, that the Heat can employ on Giannis to slow him down as a scorer. And at the end of the day, people always talk about how the Bucks roster is so well constructed. I don't love this team, man, because outside of Giannis, if he can't get his 30 points, and 18 points is not bad, he shot 50% from the field, but if they can hold him to 18 points, right? You got Chris Middleton, who had 28 tonight, and it still wasn't enough. He's not going to get 28 every night, right? Chris Middleton has been unreliable in the playoffs last year.
But when you say that, is Jimmy Butler dropping 40 a night that sustainable?
No, that is fair. But Brook Lopez, again, you mentioned, had 24. I don't know about that. But after Chris Middleton...
I think he could do that if Bam's on Giannis, but...
It's fair. But after Chris Middleton, you just see a bunch of past-their-prime shooters. And if Giannis... Wesley Matthews...
Hey, Pat's in his prime, okay?
Marvin Williams, Kyle Korver, right? These guys are not good enough. They're all role players, but none of them can create their own buckets other than Chris Middleton, who has seemed a little bit like a deer in the headlights down the stretch, or a buck in the headlights, should I say, down the stretch of these big playoff games. He's one of the most low-key, underappreciated stars in the league, but the same goes, he's not really accustomed to the pressures and the spotlight of playing in these big games, the same way a guy like Jimmy Butler, who's been around before, is. So, that's why I'm taking the Heat.
Okay. I see that argument, Scott. 100% I do. And you mentioned the Iguodala thing, and I thought that was really funny, so I just want to bring that up. That was really funny. I'm glad you brought that up. It takes us back to great times in the last one. Go check out the trade deadline reaction vid. Andre Iguodala, man. It's one of our funniest videos ever, man. Swear. So, getting right into it, Scott's bringing up good points. He's saying, is Chris Middleton dropping 28? That's sustainable. He had a great night tonight, but can he replicate it? I believe if Giannis is being guarded by Jimmy Butler primarily,
they're focusing their whole defense.
You're focusing your whole defense on Giannis. I believe Chris Middleton could keep up the 25 to 30 range. I believe Brook Lopez could consistently get 20 to 25 points. But the thing is, I don't think Giannis will have 18 points a game forever. He shot 50%. He shot 6 of 12, which, for him, he's not taking a lot of shots. And from 2, as we talked about this before we hit record, taking 6 of 12 and shooting 50% when you're only taking 2s, it's not great, especially when you're such a prominent slasher like Giannis is. However, you brought up a good point of last year's playoffs and Kawhi Leonard funneling him to Marc Gasol and them getting that trap there, getting possessions, especially when they're guys like Chris Middleton kind of choked a little bit, I think Chris Middleton's a little more seasoned now. He's two-time All-Star. I think he's built for it now. I don't think you can really compare Jimmy Butler to Kawhi Leonard in that sense, and I don't think you can really compare Bam Adebayo to Marc Gasol in that sense because, Gasol's a Defensive Player of the Year. He knows, even though, he's getting a little bit older, he knows his positioning, he knows where he's supposed to be, especially with this defensive scheme that Nick Nurse so brilliantly thought of when you have the best perimeter defender in the league with Kawhi Leonard. Yeah. Of course you're going to stop Giannis at that point because Giannis is a one-trick pony, But the 6'7" Jimmy Butler against the 7-foot Giannis Antetokounmpo.
When I look at him, he's really more like a 6'5", 6'6". And he's not as built as Kawhi. Yeah, that's totally fair.
And I don't think that this. I think this game was a fluke for Giannis. Honestly, he had his buckets here and there. He was efficient when it came to his assists. He had a block as well. Big steal and a block for the depoy. He had one block, one steal and one block for the depoy.
By the way, right, like the Magic beat the Bucks in game 1.
Yeah, exactly, and that's my whole point. It's like it's a fluke. In my opinion, it is definitely a fluke. Especially, I'm going to bring this up. DJ Augustine always goes off in game 1s of every game. Vucevic has a great game as well with the Magic. Jimmy Butler dropping 40 consistently a night is not going to be sustainable.
That's not. He has not.
It's not going to be sustainable.
Especially since he hasn't been able to shoot the 3-ball at all this
And
year.
Goran Dragic having 27, that's not going to be sustainable either. I mean, I know that the Bucks' perimeter defense isn't fantastic, but Goran Dragic is for his career, like a 15-point per game type guy, man? It's like that. I just don't think all these things are going to be sustainable. Now, Duncan Robinson had an off night tonight. He might come back and, get some buckets. I don't know. Mm-hmm. But I do not think that the production that the Heat had tonight is going to be sustainable throughout the series, especially when it comes to locking down Giannis. Because I do not think this Heat team has the tools that Raptor team had to shut down Giannis, especially when you beat him by an only 11-point margin, especially in today's NBA. It's only a few possessions, especially when Giannis is getting in there hitting some free throws. You know what I'm saying? There was one more point I wanted to make that I completely forgot what I was going to say, which really, really sucks. Oh, the 3-point shooters that they added in the offseason, like Kyle Korver, Wes Matthews, George Hill. I think those guys, especially tonight, they had decent games. George Hill had 8, Wesley Matthews was 7, Kyle Korver with 11. I think once Giannis starts to turn it up, their production's going to be a little more up as well, because it's going to draw even more attention to Giannis. Going back to my sustainability thing.
Marvin Williams, by the way, leads the playoffs in 3-point field goal percentage. He's shooting 61% from 3.
That's so random.
I can't even make this up.
That's so random. Marvin Williams.
He's ancient.
Like the number 2 pick and oh my God, Marvin Williams, man. That's amazing. So basically my whole point why I don't think the Heat will win the series, I could give them another game. Especially with how talented this Heat team is. They're very young, they're very diverse. I like the way this team looks. Maybe a year or two down the line, I could see them pulling this off, especially when they get, another bulky forward who can defend, especially when you have guys like Giannis in the Eastern Conference,
Maybe
when you got
add a
guys like
piece.
Jason Tatum in the Eastern Conference, I can see them making a run. But right now, I do not think this team is built enough to deal with Giannis Antetokounmpo, the Depoy, and probably going to be the MVP of this season.
Yeah, I think, like you said, at the end of the day, this comes down to Giannis. And to me, I'm just not sold on whether he can overcome this defense game plan to stop him and, kind of fix his shooting woes and really manage to stay aggressive, attack through the wall. Like you said, 12 field goal attempts, that's not good enough.
And 5 of those field goal attempts were threes as well.
Which is even
Shot
softer
2 of 5 from 3,
yeah, right.
40%.
Like he's got to take more than 7 shots inside the 3-point line. So I think it just depends on Giannis and whether or not he can get past this. I don't believe he will. That's not to say I don't think Giannis is a great player. I think he's phenomenal, has the potential to be an all-time great, but yeah.
All right, man. Thanks for watching. Let us know who you think has the correct prediction down below. If you liked the video, go ahead, drop a like. If you liked what you saw, please subscribe. On that road to 500K, baby. You know what I'm saying? We're blowing up. 2020, it's not been a great year, but we're trying to make the most of it, man.
The last word will fix 2020.
Thank y'all for watching, man. This has been The Last Word.